And here we go with another episode of the Arno Bet Show, and welcome. And this episode here is going to be about Roe versus Wade. Yes, that's been quite a touchy subject with a lot of people, and it's understandable. Totally is. And I found this video, and the late Judge Scalia from the Supreme Court, he was the judge that Ronald Reagan appointed as a judge back in the 80s sometime. And this guy, he's no longer with us. He passed away here several years ago. But he is probably one of the most incredible legal minds that I've ever heard talk. You know, he can really take whatever issue is brought before the court and explain it to you in a way like you don't have to be an attorney or you don't have to have anything to do with law, but he can explain it in a way that really makes you understand it. And I'm going to play just this 3-minute video. And Judge Scalia is talking with Piers Morgan, of all people to be talking to. And when he talks about Roe versus Wade and how it was, he doesn't use this term, I use it. It was bad law. It was just bad law, as simple as that. And you got to hear him explain it. He puts it in such a way that you just can't put it any better way than he does. So let's give Scalia a shot at explaining Roe versus Wade.
Let's turn to Roe v Wade, because you, Justice Scalia, you had very strong opinions about this at the time. I know you do now. Why were you so violently opposed to it?
I wouldn't say violently. I'm a peaceful man. You mean adamantly opposed? Adamantly. Basically, because the theory that was expounded to impose that decision was a theory that does not make any sense, and that is, namely, the theory of substantive due process. There's a due process clause in the Constitution which says that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. That is obviously a guarantee, not of life, not of liberty, not of property. You can be deprived of all of them, but not without due process. My court, in recent years, has invented what is called substantive due process by simply saying some liberties are so important that no process would suffice to take them away. And that was the theory used in Roe versus Wade, and it's a theory that is simply a lie. The world is divided into substance and procedure.
So should abortion be illegal in your eyes?
Should it be illegal?
Yeah.
I don't have public views on what should be illegal and what shouldn't. I have public views on what the Constitution prohibits and what it doesn't prohibit.
But I mean, the Constitution, when they framed it, they didn't even allow women to have the right to vote. I mean, they gave women no rights.
Oh, come on. No rights?
Did they?
Of course. They were entitled to due process of law.
All kinds
you
of rights.
couldn't send them to prison without the same kind of a trial that a man would
Right,
get.
but again, it comes back to changing times. The founding fathers were never going to have any reason at that time to consider a woman's right to keep a baby or to have an abortion. It wouldn't have even entered their minds, would it?
I don't know why. Why wouldn't it?
Because at the time it was just...
They didn't have wives and daughters that they cared about?
They did, but it was not an issue that they would ever consider framing in a constitution.
I don't
But
know.
when women began to take charge in the last century of their lives and their rights and so on, and began to fight for these, everybody believed that was the right thing to do, didn't they? I mean, why would you be instinctively against that?
My view is, regardless of whether you think prohibiting abortion is good or whether you think prohibiting abortion is bad, regardless of how you come out on that, my only point is the Constitution does not say anything about it. It leaves it up to democratic choice. Some states prohibited it, some states didn't. What Roe versus Wade said was that no state can prohibit it. That is simply not in the Constitution. It was one of those many things, most things in the world, left to democratic choice.
And as you can see, Pierce Morgan, uh, he's asking these questions to a man who totally, completely understands the Constitution of the United States. And I guess he might have thought he was going to try to trip him up there somehow. I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do know is Scalia's point, he really made it clear where when the framers made the Constitution, they didn't even have to take abortion into consideration. It's rights that the Constitution gives us where we have the right to choose. And not only for the individual, but for the state that the individual lives in. And if a state chooses to allow abortion, then they will. If they choose not to, based on a majority, then they won't. It's as simple as that. And when he said that uh, when Roe versus Wade got settled, so to speak, what that decision did was make it so no state could ban abortion. And that's not what the Constitution says at all. If an individual state wants to vote and vote for or against whatever the issue is, whether it's abortion or anything, it's the state's right to do it. And a court does not have a constitutional right to tell a state what it can and can't ban. that's got to be the most easiest thing for anyone, I think, that understands the Constitution to understand. How could you not make it any more clear than that? Now you and I could argue the merits of whether abortion is right or wrong. I was born and raised Catholic. I believe abortion is wrong in all situations except for one, and that is if a mother is carrying a child and it gets to a point where either the mother is going to die or the child is, and the choice has to be made. If a doctor is presented with that situation and the parents are, I think, especially if they have other children, of course, you have to sacrifice that baby and allow the mother to live. Other than that, I've always felt that if a woman got pregnant and she didn't want to have the child, carry the child, have the child, and then put it up for adoption. I don't see where that's a bad thing at all. At least it allows the child to live and can live a better life. If the mother that got pregnant and the father who impregnated her could not be responsible enough to take care of the child, the best thing that they could do is to have the child and put it up for adoption. I've always felt that way because I've never felt that abortion was ever right. I mean, it's because once a life starts at conception, it's life. And for me, that is the science. That is the final determination. Once life begins, you have no right of stopping it unless the one situation where it's either going to be the mother or the child. That's always been my position, and I will have that position until I die. And I know some people may not agree with that, and that's fine. That's what this country is based on. Not everybody has to agree. And back to what Scalia was saying about which I totally agree with, is that along with my belief that life begins at conception, what the Constitution clearly states is that Well, if you're alive, then this document pertains to you. And just like he said, how did he put it? Due process. Once a child's life begins, once life begins, there is this uh, due process that even that microscopic cell that's now alive, it now, once it's brought to life, it now has the right to due process, just like anybody else. And that makes so much clear sense to me. It really does. So it's so clear, so spot on. Now, if you've got any comments, go ahead and put it in the comments below. I definitely want to hear what you have to say. Like I said, I know we're not all going to agree. Hey, it's America. That's what we do. Okay, thank you for your time, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching my video. And what I'm trying to do here is kind of spoof up my channel. And the only way I can do it is if I could get some donations. If you want to donate, you can. You don't have to if you don't want to, because I'm just going to continue to make videos. But if you'd like to make a donation, below in the descriptions of all of my videos, there will be a link, a PayPal link. And you just click on it, and you can donate $1, 50 cents, $10, whatever you want to donate, you go ahead and you donate it. It's all going to be appreciated, and I'm going to put it all to making this channel better and better. I want to grow it. I want to get a big audience. I want you to join me. My whole thing is to share my opinion. That's all. Just share my opinion, and I want to hear yours too. Thank you, and have a good day.